Hello, Master Manifestors. Welcome back to MethodMuse, where we talk about science based manifestation methods and concepts. Today, we're talking about the ingredients for an integrated identity. Identity is a complex system that predicts and regulates behavior. We base most of our habits and our goals on our personality. If we identify as an athlete, our brain tells us mental stories that influence actions to align with that role, like eating healthy, exercising, running, doing whatever it is that is athletic. Who we are is a construct. It's interconnected parts that help us make sense of the world and reality, what we're experiencing. Flexible identities, they make it easier to manifest new experiences. The brain only lets us notice what reinforces the current story and beliefs, unless we're in observer mode. So, beliefs are long standing associations, like mental presets that are connected to identity, but they're built from like our values, our memories, our social influences, and they're typically long held, like they've been around for a while. We've had evidence and experience. They're very experience based. And what we believe creates the foundation for our mindset and for the things that we do for our behavior. If you believe that you're smart, your brain will confirm it by adjusting your habits and only noticing what reinforces that idea. Now, opinions are more preference based as opposed to evidence based. They're easier to change than the convictions of beliefs. Like when you have a belief, you typically your brain will hold on to it. It's like, no, I've had enough evidence for this that I want to hold on to it. So when you're trying to counter a deeply held belief, you need to remember that it's been built up over time and it needs to be dismantled and reorganized. You can't destroy it. You just need to reorganize it. Now, body identity. So far, we've covered beliefs. This is the biology. The body identity is how you see your physical self, your baseline nervous system state, and it goes to match the style to your identity. It activates that reward system of the brain when you're styling your hair or your clothes or you're walking or talking in a way that reinforces how you see yourself, you actually get dopamine rewards. Your brain will reward you for your consistency and your coherence and saving energy. It's happy. It wants to save energy. It wants to make things make sense. It's doing its job. It's keeping you safe. It's keeping you, mentally stable. And identity is a big part of that. It's your predictive system. And emotions are the third one. So far, we've covered belief, biology, and emotions. They are signals from the body with important information. So, your emotional identity is how you habitually interpret and respond to those messages. And the physical patterns that you have, they affect your baseline feelings because the feelings are the interpretations of those emotions. And you always interpret based on your state at the moment. If you're in high reactivity, everything's terrible. And your brain's going to be like, yeah, everything's terrible. And it really affects how you interact with the world. So tending to your emotional state, your baseline emotional state is really valuable for trying to manifest, especially if you're trying to manifest through a new identity, which is, usually what we're trying to do. Now, memories are like copies of brain updates. They're a copy of the neural experience at that time. When the update gets made, it gets logged as a memory. But you were perceiving the memory from a different state at that time than you are now. And what they do is they organize this timeline of identity so that they can help predict your next move. Your identity is your predictive system. So old mental stories about who we are, they can get automated and they can interfere with, who we're trying to open up and become, the awareness that we're trying to expand. Number 5 is principles. Values and priorities are the Lego bricks of identity. The brain prioritizes noticing and acting on what matters to us. Anything that conflicts with that is automatically either ignored or revised, reworked in the mental story, unless we're actively in observer mode and tending to it and saying, no, I'm going to choose this instead. And then letting the automations take that over. And you may have to do it over and over again. You know, it's not a one and done thing usually. Sometimes it is. It depends on how deeply held that principle or belief or that system of process. How many times you've run it, how deeply ingrained is it, how intricate is it with other systems? That's really the trick to all of this. Well, number 6 is connections. Our social connections are a big frame of reference for how we see ourselves because we adopt roles. We don't pretend to roles, we adopt them so that we can simplify our experience and navigate social situations. So, adopting roles such as teacher, mother, uh, girl, boy, whatever it is that you're trying to adopt in that role, whatever you're trying to meet in that social situation, so you don't have to reconstruct it every time you interact with the same people or group of people. You adopt a system that becomes automated. It becomes, okay, this is who I am. This is my role in this social situation. So I sort of know what is expected of me, what I want to do, or what I am expected to do, and how I fit in to this system. Because remember, we are systems, complex systems, interacting with other complex systems. And that's how, we generally navigate things in a social sense. Now, number 7 is the observer mode. So I'm just going to cover back real quick. We had number 1 was beliefs, 2, biology, our body. Number 3, emotions. Number 4, memories. Number 5, principles, values, priorities. Number 6, social connections. And number 7, observer mode. Mindfulness is the state of attention without trying to change anything. Acceptance allows us to notice more about ourselves and the world. Observing enables that flexible integration of updates to the identities. It opens us up to the possibilities, to the potential. It loosens the constriction of our brain's noticing system to say, okay, now we can open up and see what else more is in the environment, what more opportunities, what more actions could we take. And that's where, all that inspiration starts coming from when you're trying to manifest. You start getting that inspired action. You definitely want to try to spend as much time as you can in observer mode if you're trying to rewrite old beliefs or identities. And, just remember too that you also need to be in the story. You need to be part of your character. You need to be living in your systems for them to operate effectively. So it's a dual thing. You want to be in your character and observing your character, both observer and observed, and sort of just going back and forth. And I do that mostly by like daily check ins, like all day long, I'm checking in. What's my state? Just where am I at right now? I don't really think about what I want or what I want to manifest. I just think about where am I in the story of what I'm moving through right now? And where do I think that I might be? And it just sort of loosens up that tightness of, is it here yet? And you want that dopamine hit of satisfaction. Well, that is a way of feeling satisfied and alleviating that resistance. Thank you for listening. Please like, subscribe, and sign up for the MethodMuse newsletter in the description below.